Hello guys, welcome back to Tactical Trafford, and today we want to talk about how Manchester United can be able to succeed by buying Premier League proven players like Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha. So join me as I dive into this video to figure out how Manchester United can be able to succeed by buying Premier League proven players. So before I start this video, I'm going to give you a shocking stat about Manchester United. It's going to amaze you that when Sir Alex Ferguson was in Manchester United, he bought a total of 37 Premier League proven players, and in his first 13 seasons he bought more Premier League proven players than his last 13 seasons. You could all agree with me that any manager that wants to succeed in the Premier League, that wants to win the Premier League, has to buy a lot of players from the Premier League. You have to buy a lot of Premier League proven players to be able to elevate your team. An example was when Pep Guardiola actually, even till now, buys Premier League proven players. He buys a lot of good players from the Premier League. When Jurgen Klopp was in the Premier League, he buys a lot of players from the Premier League. So this is how good managers and historical managers that has created a lot of record in the Premier League has been able to succeed. They have been able to buy players that are very good, that has been valuable for their teams in the Premier League. When Sir Alex Ferguson was in the Premier League, he bought players like Andrew Cole, he bought players like Hugh, he bought players like Eric Cantona, he bought players like Roy Keane, he bought players like Tevez from the Premier League, and that was how he was able to transform Manchester United to be one of the best clubs in the world. But it's going to shock you that since Alex Ferguson left in 2013, Manchester United have been able to buy just 10 Premier League proven players. And out of those 10 Premier League proven players they have been able to buy, probably just Luke Shaw and Joan Mata have been able to create a long-lasting impact in the club. So guys, let's dive into this video. I'm going to tell you how Manchester United can be able to succeed by buying Premier League proven players like Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha. So guys, talking about how Manchester United can succeed by buying Premier League proven players, the first player we're going to start today to talk about is Matheus Cunha. Given the fact that his deal has been wrapped up, so we want to start with Matheus Cunha before we go into Bryan Mbeumo. So talking about Matheus Cunha, he's a player that was in the Wolverhampton Wanderers. He's 26 years of age. He's at his prime. He's one of the best players in Brazil currently. As you all know, Brazil don't really have a lot of good players that as they used to have before. So probably likes of Martinelli, Vinicius, Matheus Cunha, one of the best attackers currently, Rafinha in the Brazil national team. And given the fact that Matheus Cunha has been able to play in different leagues, he has been able to play in Hertha Berlin, in Leipzig, in Atletico Madrid before coming to Wolverhampton Wanderers. So he has been able to rack up a lot of experience all throughout his career. He's been actually good wherever he has gone. He has made an impact. That's why I feel that Matheus Cunha definitely can be able to make an impact. So let's talk about his stats in the Premier League. Last season in all competition, Matheus Cunha was able to play 43 games and he had like 23 goals and assists. He had like 15 goals and 8 assists, and in the Premier League he had a total of 110 shots and he was able to score 15 goals. Probably that's not really going to be like the amounts that we want as Manchester United fans, but scoring 15 Premier League goals as a winger is actually nice, because probably there has been few wingers in the Premier League that has been able to score 30 goals or 20 goals back to that. Probably Mo Salah is the only winger in the Premier League recently that's been able to rack up a lot of goals and assists, but Matheus Cunha has been able to actually prove himself to be one of the best players in the Premier League recently. And Matheus Cunha has won a total of 22% of possession in the opposition third. This is to tell you that Matheus Cunha is not the player that actually stays close to the opposition box or hold the width as a winger. Matheus Cunha is a winger or a left hand that can be able to take the ball from the center of the pitch, drive and maybe give like a cross or a long shot or something like that. And if you look at the cross accuracy of Matheus Cunha, he just has a cross accuracy of 18.3%, which is actually very low, because if Manchester United are to recruit a classic number 9, Manchester United wingers will actually be required to play whipping a lot of crosses that is going to help the striker to score headers in maybe low block or maybe matches where you are playing against a mid-block team. So Matheus Cunha will actually need to improve his crossing ability when it comes to Manchester United. But when you look at the fundamentals of the left hand of Ruben Amorim, he likes his left hand to link up with the strikers, not really whipping in crosses, link up, play long shots and try to score goals as much as possible. So that is what will be expected of Matheus Cunha. He'll be expected to score goals, to create assists, to be actually a thorn in the flesh of the opposition defenders. And I think that Matheus Cunha will be able to do that because he's a very optimistic player. He's a very wonderful player. He's athletic. He can be able to dribble. He has flair. He can be able to score, can assist. He can dribble. He can mark. So Matheus Cunha is a very wonderful player that is going to actually be a wonderful player for Manchester United, both in the present and in the future. And so getting a player like Matheus Cunha for Manchester United and for the left-hand position of Ruben Amorim is actually going to transform Manchester United. Guys, the next player we are going to be talking about in this video is Bryan Mbeumo. Bryan Mbeumo is also 26 years of age. He's at his prime. He was in Troyes before he was bought by Brentford. And if you look at the statistics of Bryan Mbeumo, probably this season has been his best goal scoring season and assist season because he has been able to score 20 goals and give 8 assists in 48 games he has been able to play this season. And luckily, he has been able to play the whole 38 games for Brentford for 2 seasons in a row. So when it comes to adaptability, when it comes to playing all the games in the season like Bruno Fernandes, Bryan Mbeumo is a player that can be able to play large amount of games as he rarely gets injured. So when you talk about possession, when you talk about the percentage of possession that has been won in the final third, Bryan Mbeumo has been able to win 32% of his possession, unlike Matheus Cunha that's been able to win a lower possession. Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha are probably different players. Bryan Mbeumo is a player that likes to occupy the front part of the pitch. He's a player that likes to hold the width. So Bryan Mbeumo and the striker in the Ruben Amorim 3-4-3 system are the 2 players that are going to stay at the top so that they can be able to counter whenever there is transition, because Bryan Mbeumo is that kind of player. He's good in transition, he's good in pressing, he's good in winning the ball in the opposition box. And one of the shocking stats in Bryan Mbeumo is that all throughout this season in his 48 games, Bryan Mbeumo was dribbled past just 14 times. So that's to tell you that defensively he's a very solid player. He also has a successful dribble rate of 52%. That tells you that Bryan Mbeumo is a player that actually takes on his defenders. Bryan Mbeumo is not a winger that looks to make mockery of defenders. He's a very direct player. He doesn't look to add a little bit of flair just like Cunha in his game. Bryan Mbeumo is not a player that shows a lot of flair. He's actually very direct. He looks to play and he looks to score. And if you look at his stats in the Premier League, Bryan Mbeumo has been able to shoot just 85 shots in the Premier League. But guess what? He has been able to score 20 goals and have an expected XG of 12.3. That tells you that Bryan Mbeumo is a very clinical player. He doesn't look to beat around the bush. He's a very direct player that looks to cut inside and score. So Bryan Mbeumo is actually going to be an integral part of the Manchester United team and the integral part of the Ruben Amorim project for the present and the future. So Bryan Mbeumo is actually a very wonderful player that will actually look to elevate the team of Manchester United. So guys, buying Premier League proven players like Matheus Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo is definitely going to increase the potential of Manchester United to be able to be competitive and also to be able to compete for the Premier League week in a week out. Because one of the problems of Manchester United in recent years is the ability to recruit valuable Premier League proven players. It's not just okay to buy Premier League players. It's also important to buy Premier League players that are going to elevate the team, that is going to make the team to be very consistent in playing every week. So, and given the fact that Manchester United will be playing just once a week because we don't have European football, this is probably the time to create like a cohesion between Bryan Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha, and probably the number 9 we are going to get. Firmino and Mane and Salah didn't just come and started playing well in the Premier League. There was like seasons where they had to know themselves, know their characteristics. Like Firmino was the player that had the work rate, the vision, while Mane and Salah were the players bringing the goals. So guys, this is what I have for the video today on this episode of Tactical Trafford. I'm going to be making numerous videos about the transfer window of Manchester United. So I will urge you guys to like and subscribe and comment down in the comment section the players that you feel that I should be able to talk more on their characteristics. See you guys on my next video, guys.